I do. You do. You go where? Oh, to Carrie. At the gym. Robert is sick and has short severe and. Yeah. Wasn't doing well. Poor guy. Okay, good morning, Boker Tov, Shabbat Shalom, all good things. You don't have what?
No,
A book?
no, a name tag.
Did you fill out the sheet?
I did.
Well, then we will make sure you get it.
Oh,
It's probably because of Thanksgiving, people were off last week, but I will make the note.
sure.
You got it.
What I need to do?
Yeah, if you fill out the sheet, then our dear friend Aileen, who's amazing, will make you a formal name tag. Okay,
I signed up for it in January.
all right, so good morning, we're gonna get started. Today, yes, okay. You know what, Marcia, will you do me a favor? Will you take that piece of paper, one of the piece of paper from your notepad and just place it there, my friend, and then people can sign up. Okay. All right, so first of all, I'm so glad that you all are here. If you have a book in front of you, if you want the book in front of you, there's Torah books behind Marcia on the shelf. We're in Genesis chapter 32. We're gonna start with verse 4. I will share on the screen as well. But I know some people like to have physical books in front of them. Today is one of those amazing episodes in the Torah that we are going to focus on, and I want us to look at it through a different lens today. We're gonna focus on the story of Jacob as he's preparing to reunite and re-emerge a relationship with his brother Esau. The last time we were together, things didn't go so well with the two of them, remember? Their parting was not sweet, it was full of sorrow, right? And difficulty and complexity and complex dynamics amongst the family. But now we have a moment where Jacob, time has passed, years have passed, and he is on a journey and he comes into knowing that he will be passing through the land that his brother Esau resides. And there will be a collision moment, okay? And he's not really sure what that's gonna be like. Is it gonna be a reunion of joy and of love? Is it gonna be a painful moment? Is it gonna be a challenging moment where he could imagine his brother killing him? Like, what's gonna happen, right? It runs the gamut of emotion. What we're gonna see in this episode is different moments of Jacob and his transformation as a person. The awareness and the knowing, coming into knowing about seeing his brother again. When he lays down at night and finds a place of solace and solitude, there's an experience that he has with an Ish, some sort of a man or angel or divine presence or being, or as Rashi suggests, himself. There's gonna be some wrestling going on, right? There's gonna be a transformation for Jacob of his name from Jacob, Yaakov to Yisrael, which we're gonna spend some time in because it's just magnificent, the Hebrew itself, and what that's actually suggesting to us. And then the moment of meeting, and what does that meeting look like? And then we're gonna reflect on what does it mean to us. So that's what we're here to do. That's our full roadmap. We're gonna go through the text first. I want us to really read the story together, and then we're gonna break it apart and explore what our sages are teaching, what our tradition is asking of us, and what are we asking of ourselves from the text. Okay? Good? And we're gonna do that all in 1 hour. So here we go. Yeah, thank you. All right, we'll do our blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asot b'divrei Torah. Okay, let me share my screen. I know, give me a sec. I'm just gonna zoom in. Okay. Everyone sees where we are? Genesis 32, Parsha and Vayishlach, we begin with verse 4. I'm gonna read, you're gonna pay attention, what stands out for you, what comes to life for you, what are you hearing, what are you seeing? Okay, Yaakov, Jacob, sent messengers ahead to his brother Esau in the land of Seir, the country of Edom. This is when he knows and he's informed that in fact he is going to pass the place where his brothers live, and he hasn't seen his brother in a very long time. He instructed them as follows: "Thus shall you say to my lord Esau, thus says your servant Jacob." Pay attention to the language. What do we see here? He's setting up a dynamic.
Hierarchy.
Okay, there's like a hierarchy, there's a dynamic, there's what?
Reference.
Reverence. Beautiful word, right? My lord Esau, your servant Jacob. I stayed with Lavan and remained there until now. I have acquired cattle and asses and sheep, male and female slaves, and I send this message to my lord in the hope of gaining your favor. Remember, we've seen this phrase before, matzah chen beinecha, or in this case, limsoa chen beinecha, that I may find favor and grace in your eyes, that you will see me, right? Not just that I hope that you will receive me, but you will see me, matzah chen, you will see me and find grace. Okay, the messengers returned to Jacob saying, "We came to your brother Esau. He himself is coming to meet you, and his retinue numbers 400. What is this saying or setting up for us here?
Fear.
Okay, interesting. There's a fear element here. What? Scott?
Right.
Okay, there's a bit of, okay, interesting, right? What are they reporting back?
Estrangement.
There's strength, what?
Their estrangement.
Okay, estrangement.
That not only has he done well, but his brother may have done better.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, there's really interesting dynamics all being said in just one line, right? Like we're learning a lot here. All right, what else? Anyone else? Power, right? Power is an interesting word and it's very clear here.
Maybe protection.
How so?
Well, not knowing what there is to become, the numbers themselves would change any negative thought or, desire to do harm or whatever, to make it, to calm down, but to also gain control of an unknown situation.
Okay, so there's a lot of unknown unknowns here, and now he's starting to get some sense of knowing. He does know that his brother has done well, that he has resources just as Jacob has resources, okay? There is a fear element, right? There's a fear, that's a large number of people, right? What are he doing? What is he doing? And I love, the language here is very interesting too, that your brother is coming himself to meet you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jacob now knows he is going, the intention is he is going to meet face to face with his brother, okay? So, like Marilyn says, Jacob was greatly frightened. In his anxiety, he divided the people with him and the flocks and the herds and the camels into two camps. Rashi says that Jacob, Yaakov, is known for his strategic thinking, right? Even in the episode before with the blessing, he makes a call. He strategizes how he's gonna get this blessing. He's always thinking, he's imagining, he's like a chess player, right? Now this is what he's doing. He is assessing the situation. I see what the landscape is gonna be. I now need to prepare. I'm gonna break us into two camps, right? Make also for protection wise too. Put some out in front, some behind, right? We have to be strategic. Thinking if Esau comes to the one camp and attacks it, the other camp may yet escape. All right, so what is his initial reaction is what?
Harm.
That harm is, he's walking into harm. He's walking into danger. He needs to prepare and plan. Right, that's his initial reaction.
Anticipated.
Right, there's an anticipation, it's palpable, okay? Good. Then Jacob said, "O God of my father Abraham's house and God of my father Isaac's house, O Adonai, who said to me, return to your native land and I will deal bountifully with you. I am unworthy of all the kindness that you have so steadfastly shown your servant. With my staff alone, I crossed this Jordan and now I have become two camps. deliver me. Hatzileni na, deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother and from the hand of Esau. Else I fear he may come and strike me down, mothers and children alike. Imagine what Jacob has been carrying for all of these years.
But rightly so.
Okay, one way or another, but like, why do you say that
Well,
immediately?
because he was, he kind of screwed him up a little bit, and now his conscience is bothering him, and he's hoping that, oh, maybe, he'll forget, or maybe he'll, you know. I hope that it works out, that he's sorry, obviously he's sorry for what he's done when he was young.
Okay, all right, so this is all sort of bubbling up for him, right? There is something that he is feeling here, right? What does he do though? Yeah,
He's throwing back to God what was promised to his fathers and his forefathers. And
Interesting.
because of them, he should protect him and his camps of people.
okay, so what is he calling?
He's calling God's commitment
Okay,
to Abraham.
okay, so he's calling in the covenant, right? He's calling in the covenant. Remember, you said, right? He is calling out in tefillah, in prayer, reminding of the covenant. Remember, you said, deliver me. I'm really fearful and anxious. This doesn't seem like I'm walking into a welcome home party, right? Or into the arms of my brother. I really feel like I'm walking into something that is dangerous, that I can be in harm's way, my whole family. Like there's a capability here that he could, children and women alike, he'll slaughter because of what happened and what I had done, right? You said that I was gonna be numerous and bountiful and part of this covenant, but now I'm walking into something that calls that to question, right? So he's feeling all of this. He's genuinely concerned, right? Yeah,
I think he's putting himself in God's hands.
okay, how so?
Well, I think there is an ominous situation here where he's gonna have to possibly, answer for his actions. But he's asking for God to be there at his side and to help him, protect him.
Yeah, okay. Anybody else? Should we keep going? Okay. Yet you have said, I will deal bountifully with you and make your offspring as the sand of the sea, which are too numerous to count. We've heard this before. After spending the night there, he selected from what was at hand these presents for his brother Esau. 200 she-goats, 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, 20 rams, 3 milk camels with their colts, 40 cows, 10 bulls, 20 donkeys, 10 donkeys, all these things, right? Then he put in the charge of his servants, drove by drove, and he told his servants, go on ahead and keep a distance between the droves. He instructed the one in front as follows. When my brother Esau meets you and asks you, who's your master, where are you going, and whose animals are these ahead of you, you will answer, your servant Jacob's. They are a gift sent to my lord Esau, and Jacob himself is right behind us. Right, so what's he doing?
Pretending.
Yeah.
Right, he's creating a buffer, number one, right? And he's preparing to present something to do what?
Make amends.
Okay, make amends.
I don't
Marsha?
think make amends, I think soften the blow of his brother, I think he's still scheming, I don't even think he's sorry, like Sylvie said before.
Uh-huh,
I think he's always just scheming.
okay, so he's in his mode, right? Like he's strategically scheming, he's planning, okay, right? All right, he had, all these things could be true, right? He's feeling it's like these, you say with little kids, like big emotions. There are big emotions here, big feelings that he's trying to deal with, and they're complex and they're varied. He's planning. He is planning for the multiple situations that he could be walking into, right? This is a complete unknown for him. / a little bit of a known unknown, because he knows what could be. He knows what happens with his brother and what his brother was capable of. Remember, he was that strong hunter, right? He knows what he's doing, but there's also that unknown of what could happen. Okay?
Question, was Jacob aware of the fact that God also promised Esau nations, of people and.
That's a great question, right? That's a great question. When we read the text, remember Jacob wasn't present there for that. It was just Esau who was there, but we don't know. Did he know? Did he come into knowing, right? The Torah is not specific about that per se. But he now knows. He now knows that he has been blessed, right? Okay. It's very, okay.
Now, I'm sorry, he knows he's been blessed, which is he speaking of?
Well, now Jacob knows that Esau has been blessed. He's amassed all these, right? Has all of, he's not just himself. He's amassed a great wealth. He has people. He has, 400 people standing there with him, right? Yeah.
Wasn't sure what the
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
How many did Jacob have? Does it say? Cause he's got camps, he's got sending people differently.
In terms of numbers, I don't know if we know the exact number of people per se, but it's a good number and he has a tremendous amount of. He has his animal, he has his wealth, he's amassed a tremendous amount with him. I don't know if it says exactly how much. We'll keep reading and see. I don't recall that. Okay, you shall add, and your servant Jacob himself is right behind us. Don't worry, you have all these things in front of you, but your brother is coming, he's here. For he reasoned, if I propitiate him with presents and advance and then face him, perhaps you will show me favor, just like Marcia said, right? Marcia is in line with Jacob here, okay? And so the gift went on ahead while he remained in camp at night, okay? The same night he arose, taking his 2 wives, his 2 maidservants, his 11 sons, and he crossed the ford of the Yabok River. Okay, now this is an interesting piece. Pay attention to what's happening here. Okay, I think someone has his hand. Oh, Jack has his hand raised. Jack, did you want to offer something before we continue on?
Yeah, I did. Isn't it odd that Jacob sends everybody else ahead of him? Wouldn't you think he would do that? Jacob's Jacob. I mean, he has been a deceptor. He's been running away from problems all his life. And here he finds himself confronted with his greatest fear, which is his brother. And rather than accept it and face his brother right away, he perpetuates this dysfunctional family by putting them in line of importance. Of course, it's at the end of the line is his favorite wife and himself. Everything
Right.
else goes in front of him. And I
You
just
and Marcia
find
are in the
Jacob,
same camp.
at this point, Jacob is who he is. He has yet to confront his greatest fears, which is his brother and what's coming about.
Yeah, you can also say himself, which is about to happen, right? So yeah, you could absolutely make that argument. That is 100% you can make the argument. And this is why what we're about to read, this episode here is going to ask us to ask to think about who and what is Jacob willing to confront or not. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at now. Okay, after taking them across the stream, he sent across all his possessions. Jacob was left alone. Now here's an interesting piece. When the Torah says things like this, number 1, he remained in the camp that night. Nighttime is a interesting time in the Torah. Nighttime suggests things can happen. Not always positive things, difficult things. Nighttime also suggests that there is this time of quiet, separate from the noise of the rest of the world. Okay, so it's very interesting. The Torah is not always so specific. So when it is specific, it forces us to pause. This scene that we're about to read has a lot of specificity. So we're going to spend time on that. He remained in the camp that night. Okay, he sent his wives, he split up his family. They crossed the river, sent his possessions. Then he was left alone by himself. With all the things that he has, sent them away, and now he is alone. And a figure, in the Hebrew it's Ish, a man, wrestled with him until the break of dawn. When he saw that he had not prevailed against him, Jacob, when Jacob saw that he had not prevailed against him, this Ish, when the Ish realized that he had not prevailed against Jacob, he wrenched Jacob's hip at its socket. Okay, so that the socket of his hip was strained as he wrestled with him. Okay, can you imagine it? Can you feel it? Okay, a pain in the hip.
What's the significance of the hip? I mean, Kabbalistically, what's the significance of the hip being injured, not the shoulder, not, you know? Is there a significance to it?
So hold the question until we see the Hebrew. Hold the question, okay? All right, so the socket of his hip was strained as he wrestled with him. Then he said, ready? Let me go, for dawn is breaking. This is what the Ish says. Let go of me, Jacob. Okay, for dawn is breaking. But he answered, Jacob answered, I will not let you go unless you bless me. What is interesting about that? Okay, think about the character.
He stole his brother's blessing already.
Yes, so we're now making a full circle moment back to Jacob and this notion of blessing. Also, we're making a full circle moment back to his original entering into the world. Remember, Yaakov means that heel, because he grasped the heel of his brother. So I want us to look at this for a second, and it says, I'm not gonna let you go. That's who his name is. Yaakov means to grasp, to hold on to. I'm not gonna let you go until you bless me. This notion of blessing is an inherent part of Yaakov, of who he is, right? I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna cleave to my father and I'm gonna ask for that blessing. I'm gonna demand that blessing. Right here, I'm gonna hold on to you until you bless me. Said the other, the Ish says, what is your name? Which is also, it forces us to pause. You mean to tell me this Ish doesn't know who this is? But he asked the question, what is your name? And he replied, like his father, right? Who are you? Tell me who this is, right? And he replies, Jacob. Said he, your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Yisrael. For you have wrestled, you have striven with beings divine and human, and have prevailed. In the Hebrew, Vayomer lo Yaakov. You are now no longer Yaakov, the one who holds on, grasps, right? Yemer od shimcha. You will receive now another name. You will be known by another name. Ki im Yisrael, ki sarita im Elohim, ve'im anashim ve'tuchal. What's so interesting here is that it adds in not that you just wrestled with the divine, but you've also wrestled with humanity and prevailed. Now, what do you take thinking about this character, his life, and what's happening now in the context in which he finds himself? What does this mean to you?
I think it's a huge seminal moment in Jewish history and of humanity.
Yeah, tell me more.
Well, I don't know, I mean, it just seems like that's a transition, but not only in name, but in significance.
It's a major transformation, right? It's a threshold moment. It's a threshold moment for Yaakov, for Jacob, but it's an incredible moment for us who are the inheritors of this name. B'nai Yisrael, the children of Yisrael. You are Yisrael because you have wrestled, you have engaged with in this way, with beings and with human beings, with humanity and with divinity, and you have prevailed. Really interesting, right? You are not just someone who holds on and grasps onto what was, right? Or holds on and clings to something. and not let go. But you are willing to, there's a wrestling is an interesting, if you think about it visually, what it looks like and what the idea behind it is. But this idea that you are grappling, you are wrestling, you are engaged with, there's activity between the two and you have prevailed. Interesting language. Marcia, then Maddie.
I feel like Jacob is such a coward that he sends everybody ahead and he's not willing to face his brother, and yet he's given such an honor. It just doesn't sit well with me.
Okay, that's okay. You're wrestling with him. I like it, because you're Benot Israel, you're a daughter of Israel. Yeah.
In what ways has he prevailed?
What do you think? Or not?
Rabbi?
I mean,
Yeah, I see you, Jack. I'm coming right now.
he's, lived through this and he built, a community of wealth. That's all I see, that he survived. But
Okay, so,
why would he be rewarded for that?
okay, so we're, right, so, good. These are great questions. We don't know all the answers yet. Jack, we're gonna get to, go ahead, Jack.
Also, I think when you name somebody, you define who they are. I mean, when God's asked what his name is, he says, I am who I am. You can't give God a name because it circumscribes on what he is and what he stands for. But it's interesting, I think, here in that further on in Genesis, Jacob has two names. When it refers to family matters, he's called Jacob. When it has to do with the people in a nation, he's called Israel. And as seeing this, you can see that Jacob has decided that he's going to confront his fears, which is why he now can become a leader. He will confront his greatest fear, which is to meet with his brother. And that's a turning point in his life where he is no longer running from his problems and making excuses for them, but he's facing them.
Okay, beautiful. What else? Marilyn?
This may be really off the charts.
No, hey.
Really. By him getting rid of everything that identifies him, that means he's there naked himself.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't really fight with God or go into your deepest places with other people protecting you from materialism, family dynamics. You're by yourself.
Yeah.
And that's how it feels to me.
That's beautiful. It's very Rashi. So Rashi thinks, look at you, you've been elevated. Rashi does the same thing. Rashi looks at this episode and he sees beyond the pshat of the ish. For Rashi, it's not a form. It's not a physical form. It's not a man. It's not a divine being. For Rashi, this ish is Jacob himself. Rashi sees the ish as Jacob wrestling with Jacob's self. Jacob wrestling with Jacob's past. Jacob wrestling with who he was and who he is. And the prevailing piece, the Yisrael, is who he becomes. That in that experience of being forced to wrestle with himself because he is levado, which it's right, it makes it a point here to say that he was left alone, right? Vayivater Yaakov levado, that he was alone. That aloneness is, he is vulnerable. He is not protected. He is not placed amongst all the buffers that he placed his rest of his family and his possessions. He is vulnerable and exposed, and he is open and he is raw. And it's only in that moment, probably like the first moment that really he's ever acknowledged and given him himself that time. Because if you think about the only other time that we've seen him alone is when he leaves and flees after the blessing episode. And he flees, and on his way, on that journey, he lays down and he has a dream. That's the ladder moment, right? A lot of interesting things happen to Jacob, right? And he dreams of this ladder with angels going up and down the ladder. That's the last time we really see him alone, okay? And when he awakes from that dream, he says, God was in this place and I had no idea. I didn't know it. That I'm so busy scheming and doing and running and going and fleeing that I had no idea that divinity was in this place, that I was surrounded by God and that God was here. No idea. Now fast forward, he's now alone once again. And he has another experience that demands something of him. So for Rashi says it's so clear for Rashi that this is not an external being, but rather this is the actual moment in his life where where he is confronted with himself. And by being confronted with himself and wrestling with himself and prevailing, that was the moment that it shifts for him. And that transformation is an inner transformation. He himself goes from Yaakov, the one who holds on and clings and is possessive and all these things, to Yisrael. That's the transformation and the shift that's internal. Now, what Jack is responding or alluding to is that later on in the Torah, for the rest of this story of Jacob, it flip-flops between when he is called Yaakov and when he is called Yisrael. It flip-flops. So even the Torah in and of itself is not consistent with the name that it gives Yaakov. Sometimes he's referred to as Yaakov, as Jacob. Sometimes he is referred to as Yisrael. It's not consistent. Which also could be very interesting if we think about the character himself and the moments of his life that he lives. If we think about it for ourselves, there are times when we are known by different names. There are times when we present different parts of ourselves. If we only walk in the world one way, if you are the same when you were born and childhood and young adulthood and maturity, all of those things, if you are the same and present yourself the same throughout the entire lived experience of your life, imagine that experience of your life. Right? What does that look like?
You keep no one on their toes.
Right, exactly. That is no fun, right? But think for a moment of the moments that you are the Yaakov, the one who clings and grasps and holds, and the moments of your life when you are called Yisrael, when you grapple, when you wrestle, when you think, when you prevail, when you are multifaceted, multidimensional, when you are asking deeper questions of yourself to say, what does this moment demand of me? What am I willing to let go of? What am I still holding on to? Right? It's very interesting what this one moment in the Torah can create for us, an understanding of who we are, who we once were, who we currently are, and who we hope to become. And for Jacob, this is one of those moments, right? When he saw, hold on. Okay, here we go. So then Jacob turns around, being Jacob. By the way, what does it say? Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Yisrael. But then the next verse says what? Vayishal Yaakov. Jacob asked. Yisrael didn't ask this question. Jacob asked this question. Pray, tell me your name. But the Ish says, you must not ask my name. And he took leave of him there. Vayikra Yaakov Shem HaMakom Peniel. So Jacob named the place Peniel, meaning, I have seen a divine being face to face, yet my life has been preserved. Now, the language is important, right? I have seen this divine being face to face. What is he preparing for? To see his brother, right? Panim al panim, face to face. I have lived. My life has been preserved. There's a little bit of a foreshadowing moment here to say that in this moment, he comes face to face and he lives. We could argue that the Torah is doing a little bit of a foreshadowing here to quell our huge anxiety and fears that we think Jacob's about to be killed, right? No one worried, right? It's saying he lives, okay? There's like a little foreshadowing moment. But what's interesting too is the naming is interesting. It doesn't say, and Yisrael said, Jacob still says, okay?
What is the word? Peniel mean?
Look, I'm gonna show you, this is the coolest thing, right? Look. So you can see, hello. Okay? facing God, panim, El is God. All right, so he names the place facing God. Remember in the beginning when we talked about, I want my brother, Matzatchen, right, to find favor in his eyes, that he sees me. Here also, he names the place, I have seen God, I have been faced with God, and now he's gonna go face to face with his brother. The Hebrew brings us on a very interesting journey too. Right? Good. All right, so the sun rose up upon him and he paused, limping on his hip, right? Because he's hurt, he's wounded. All right, there's a physical manifestation of that hurt, all right, that he's gonna limp along. That is why the children of Israel to this day, they do not eat the thigh muscle that is on the socket of the hip. Okay, since Jacob's hip socket was wrenched at the thigh muscle. Okay, there you go. All right,
What would be considered thigh muscle
I have no idea.
that we eat?
I have no idea.
Chicken thighs?
Chicken thighs, that's what I thought.
Well, but the
And then
beef,
the-
it's, if you don't eat any of the bottom part of the cob, it's only the top part that you eat. So you don't get near
We're
the,
vegetarian.
there you go.
Near the intestines, you don't wanna get near the intestines.
I mean, I wouldn't, but okay, I mean, but people do, it's like the kishki, all right, here we go. Looking up, Jacob saw Esau coming with a retinue of 400. He divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the two maids, putting the maids and the children first, Leah and the children next, and Rachel and Joseph last. Okay? He himself went on ahead and bowed low to the ground 7 times until he was near his brother. What is the significance of 7 times?
7 bro.
Okay, that's interesting. You bring up the Sheva Brachot, right? 7 represents one day of each day of
Week.
right, each day of the week, each day of creation, right? The 7 is significant because it's really the symbolic of the creation of a world. Okay, he's bowing 7 times. One could argue that in so doing, what he's trying to do is to create a new world of a relationship. There's reverence in that. The 7, it's a holy and sacred number. It's a sacred engagement. 7 pauses we take between when we're getting ready to bury someone, as we prepare to walk towards their grave. We walk and we take 7 intentional pauses, right? 7 blessings, 7 wedding blessings when people are under the chuppah. Sheva brachot, 7 meals after people have been married. 7 is significant. It's the notion of creation and recreation. Okay. Esau, let's see what happens. Vayaratz Esav. Esau ran to greet him. He embraced him, and falling on his neck, he kissed him, and they wept. Now, I don't know if it's in the book, it may be, but if you see here, you see this word? Vayishakehu. Vayishakehu means to kiss. You see what's written here? It has little dots on top of the Hebrew. This is the only place that this appears in the Torah. There are these little dots. Okay? Intentionally. Right? Doesn't happen anywhere else. Is it in the book?
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, it's these 6 dots. I wish it was 7, it
Yeah,
was
that
so
would
much
make
better.
It
God.
would make more sense.
Oh, I wish.
on the 7th day you rested, so.
There, on the 7th day, right, the 6th day, human beings were created, I mean, we could go for days, okay, we could go for days, I wish it was 7, fine, I'll be fine with 6. But what's fascinating is that nowhere else in the Torah do you find these dots. And you find it atop this word, and he kissed him. So of course, the sages go crazy, we need to discuss this, what is it saying? Why are these dots here? So there's 2 suggestions. One, it's to say that this moment is not genuine for Esau. One of the sages say, yes, he ran towards him and he kissed him, he fell on top of him, but it was not genuine, it was not authentic.
Oh.
Okay? Where the opposite for the other set of rabbis is true, to say, no, this shows a great moment of incredible empathy and compassion, but there's a disparity in belief here. One group of rabbis is saying it's not authentic. He doesn't mean it, it's manipulative. The other set is saying, no, this shows great empathy, great compassion. Look what the Hebrew says, he ran towards him. He didn't just wait to receive him. He was in motion. It was an immediate, for him, when Esau saw his brother, his immediate reaction was to run towards him and greet him.
But can we just go back for 1 second?
Yeah.
Under the kuf is like an inverted V, like that's not a vowel.
No, but it's a trope mark. It tells you how to
That's a
sing
trope.
it. Yeah, et
I don't see it
naftah,
anywhere else.
right here. This one you're talking about?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's called et naftah. Say it. Et naftah. That's how you know how to sing that word.
Wow.
So all of these trope marks, you see these little guys here? These are cancellation marks, okay? So, Vayarat Esav likrato, Vayichbakehu, Vayipol al tzavaro, Vayishkahehu, Vayivku. Those are the cancellation marks. That's how you know how to chant the Torah. Okay? This doesn't exist anywhere else. These little dots. I was gonna bring the Torah in, but this has it here, which is great. Tonight you won't see it because we don't have Torah camp tonight. Man, missed opportunity. Okay.
So why the 6? What is this?
Oh, I knew you were gonna ask me that. I don't know. I looked. I wanted there to be 8. I almost put a dot up there. I wanted it to be 7. I almost put an extra dot up there for you. No, it's I don't know why. I don't know why 6. I don't know why. We don't know. We just know that there is something that the tradition is asking us to stop, okay? So I looked at, I wanted to know more, obviously. So Rashi brings 2 perspectives. Some say that the dots indicate the suspicion of Esau, right? They're suspicious of him. Why? Like, that's what this is from the rabbis of understanding why is it dotted? Why is it asking us, and why is it asking us to pause on this moment? And not just this moment, but this kiss. They're suspicious of it. They say that it was insincere, okay? Perhaps even an attempt to bite Jacob's neck, as opposed to, there's a midrash that they actually bit one another, as opposed to kiss one another, okay? But one rabbi says that through Roman persecution, that people had every reason to doubt human goodness, but that this moment, Esau is so overcome with compassion that he kisses him wholeheartedly. That it shows that it was a fullness of being, that he was totally sincere and absolutely authentic. And that they want to mark this moment to say this was an absolutely authentic reaction. That he ran towards him, and his first thing that he wanted to do was to kiss him and to show that energy.
Esau has been nothing but direct and upfront.
Yeah.
He's not manipulative, so why do the rabbis think he's manipulative at this point?
So that goes back to a section that happens right after the initial story of the selling of the birthright. So after the first moment, when we read a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, when Esau sells the birthright for a cup of lentil soup, remember that?
Yeah.
Then there was a time lapse, remember? Goes back, it goes forward. And there was a fast forward moment where it talks about Esau marrying outside of the tribe. We didn't read it in class because we went on to the next section. But there's a moment here. The rabbis, there is a group of rabbis who take this and they start to contextualize that, making Esau something different. He's an other. He marries outside the faith. He goes against God. They start to sort of transform the character of Esau to not be put in such a good light as Jacob. Okay? Why? Okay, this is what they're doing, right? We need to elevate Yaakov, Jacob, and they're going to sort of, it's not as far as demonize Esau, but it's to place Esau in a different light, okay? And so there's this rub, this tension with Esau that's created, okay? Esau goes and marries outside of the tribe, outside the quote unquote faith, there's no like real faith yet, right? But outside of the tribe and marries a woman he's not supposed to marry, okay? And all of a sudden they start to create a character of Esau that is other, okay? They other him. So there's a tradition of sort of being suspicious of his motivations, right? So one set of rabbis who are remarking or commenting on this episode are saying, this is a guy that we've always been suspicious of. We can't, like, what's really going on here? What's he trying to do? Or another group is saying, what do you mean? Like, we don't believe in tshuva, like we don't believe in repentance and forgiveness for both, right? Both characters are engaged in a tshuva moment. Jacob doesn't have to go to him, right? Jacob could have done something else. And Jacob, you could also say, like, is he, right? Like you have your inherent biases towards Jacob, right? That he's bowing, he's presenting gifts, like, what's he trying to do? So the dots above here, the rabbis are suggesting, it forces us to pause and actually confront that this kind of a moment is not foreign for us. If you've ever been in a disagreement or had an issue with somebody, we know that tshuva, repentance, forgiveness is kind of messy. It's not always easy. It requires a tremendous amount from us, right? It's not easy to be open and vulnerable and raw and to bow low in reverence and also in humility to go to the other. And even for the other, for Esau, right? This is a moment where both of them are engaged in the tshuva. Esau's not just waiting and stepping back, waiting to receive the forgiveness, which he could have, by the way. He's an active participant in this moment of tshuva that they're both experiencing. And that's why the dots are there. That it reminds us that this experience, this episode between these two brothers, is a moment that should cause us to pause when we're reading it and not just take it for granted. Don't just gloss over it. Don't just say, like, oh, Jacob now has been transformed and God is with him and that's why he's being protected. That's not being said here. This is a human to human connection here. That's really interesting in the Torah. That this is an episode that is truly about these two brothers, these two human beings that have had a very difficult and checkered past with one another, and complex and painful. And what it's calling them here and bringing them together is through a very deep connection that both of them have been transformed in some way and are reuniting and engaging in forgiveness, both on their own turn, like both through their own journey of finding that moment. We don't know the full scope of Esau's experience. I don't know what his night was like. He could have been wrestling with an angel too, for all I know, right? We have no idea. Maybe he was sitting up all night worried to death himself. Maybe he's been thinking about it for all these years. And now finally his brother's coming and being brought to him. His initial reaction could have been so many things, but it wasn't. It's an amazing reminder for us too, when we think about how much we are in our own heads when we have experiences like this. Think about when you have a moment with somebody and it doesn't go so well. And you have an experience with somebody. How much do you replay those moments in your own head? Okay, over and over every day. You rehash, you rethink, you replay. But did I say it that way? I did say it that way. Are they ever gonna speak to me again? Did I really mean it? I did mean it. God, that's awful. No, they're not so bad. How am I ever gonna say I'm sorry? If I do say I'm sorry, am I admitting that I was wrong? They were really wrong. They're never gonna say sorry to me, but if they do say sorry to me, do you think we'll ever get back to one another? Will it ever be the same? If it is the same, do I want it to be the same? Maybe I don't want it to be the same. Right, like, you're in your head. You're living the experience, the episode over and over and over and over and over again. You're wrestling with yourself. You're more of a Yaakov, you're holding on. Some of us are like a Yisrael, where we're like, wrestle, done, move on, I'm going right to you. Here's what happened, here's how you made me feel, let's move past it. Others, years, Yaakoving ourselves, right? Okay.
To carry your information further, I think this is a great example of men using their free will. They both had a choice to make. And maybe Esau was the type, and we don't know, as you say, that never had that resentment. And just was a kindly person who continued on and didn't carry the burden of anger where it built up, where he made a decision. It's over, I'm going to just be a good man. And in the case of Jacob, who knows if this was a way of getting out of being face to face confronted with being responsible. We don't know.
Right.
But if we take it both as good intentions, we see the best in both of them.
The beauty of that too is the end of that verse where it says, Vayifku, and they wept. Not just one, right? Not just, it wasn't just Jacob who received the kindness. It was both. They were both giving and they were both receiving and they were both experiencing in the moment, right? And they wept. And this I just love, number 5. Looking about, he saw the women and the children. Who, he asked, are these with you? He answered, the children with whom God has favored your servant. I love this moment. It's so real, right? It's like you can imagine they've run up to each other, they've hugged, they've kissed, and then he looks like, no, you have a family, right? Like, who are these people? Introduce me. These are your kids? Oh, like my nephew. Oh, like, right? Like it's just like I love this moment. It's like so great, right? We've built up this whole journey, this whole experience, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, you got kids.
Shows how much life passed.
Right? So much has passed. So much also in the moment that they've recognized that they've not been a part of with one another. Right? There's also that little bit of like that pain of that heartache of like, look at all this time that we've missed. Look at all that you've done. Look at all that I have, right? We've lived significant lives apart from one another.
And rebelled.
Yes, but also we've lived so much time apart from one another. And for what? Right?
Yeah.
These is not just an ancient story, right? Like, even if you have magnificent relationships with everyone that you've ever met, I'm so happy for you, it's amazing, right? Let's imagine per se you don't always have fantastic moments, right? Or you go through periods where of separation with people that you love. That moment of being willing to forgive, and in the same moment to say, look what you've done. Tell me about them. Even in this moment, to be able to step out and say, rather than saying, look what we've missed, right? Like, because we didn't talk to each other, oh my God, like, I can't believe you didn't tell me you had kids. No, it's like, look at this. Look what you have, right? And Jacob's response is so beautiful. This is whom God has favored. This is what God has given to me, right? Like, I'm blessed. It's his way of saying, like, I'm blessed, right? And then each comes forward and bows low, introducing themselves, right? Like, you can imagine sort of the flow of the whole reception, right? It's like, and here's Rachel, and here are my 11 kids, here are my 2 sons, like the whole shtick is going on here, right? And he asks him, what do you mean by all this company which I have met? And the answer is to gain my Lord's favor. And Esau says this, Vayomer Esau, Yesh li rav, I have enough, I have a lot. Achi, yehi lecha asher lach. I have enough, my brother, my life is good. Let what you have remain yours. Yeah, you don't need to, I don't need a gift exchange, right? I don't need like happy Harry, whatever people do, like, what is that, like with Hanukkah, where people do like silent, what is it, like Hanukkah hair, I don't know, like gift exchange stuff, no. Alright, I don't need gifts. I have enough, right? Like it's such a, like the language itself is, yesh li rav. I have a lot. I have everything. Achi, my brother. Yehi lecha asher lach. Keep what's yours.
I think it shows that it's genuine, you know, it's
Really.
from the heart and it's,
It's
it's open.
absolutely, it's like such a beautiful, authentic response. Like I was looking not to take from you. I was looking to see, like, look what my brother has. Like, look at this beautiful life, right? You don't need to present me with as gifts for me. I have what I have. I have enough. Life is good. Life is good, my brother. And you have what you have, and your life is good, right? Yeah.
So. We're just talking about people.
Yeah.
And then it's. Who is he giving? What was the gift? Was it the people or the thing?
So I think it's
We
like this
left
thing.
things a long time ago.
Well, they're all sort of like there, like in the midst, right? Remember he had all those gifts lined up ahead of time, all these animals, all this chazarai that he has like packed up in front to hand off to him. He's like, like you can imagine, like even in the moment, like there's like this like a ceremony. There's like a ceremony. Everyone walks up and bows and this and that, and he's like, I don't need from that. I don't need all that. Everything's good. You have what you have, I have what I have, like, we are good. This is good. We're happy, right? I'm just gonna move forward here for a second because I think it's just so beautiful. Esau says, let us start. Look what Esau says here. Vayomer nis'a v'nelcha ve'elcha lenegdecha. And Esau says, let us start on our journey and I will proceed at your pace. But he says to him, Jacob says, my Lord knows that the children are frail, that the flocks and herds which are nursing are a care to me. They are driven hard a single day, all the flocks will die. We've been on a long journey. We've been going. And also you can imagine for him, he's like, I literally thought I was gonna die 5 minutes ago, right? Like I am mentally and emotionally, spiritually spent. I'm exhausted.
Yeah,
also
Yeah, he had a rough night. Okay, he was wrestling all night, right? Sleepless night, sleepless years. What? Let my Lord go on ahead of his servants while I travel slowly at the pace of the cattle before me and at the pace of the children until I come to my Lord in Seir. Then Esau said, let me assign to you some of the people who are with me, like to help you. He says, no, my Lord is too kind to me. Vayashav bayom hahu Esav. So Esau started back that day on his way to Seir. But Jacob journeyed to Succoth and built a house for himself and made stalls for his cattle. And that's why he called the place Succoth, like a dwelling. And Jacob arrived in the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, having come thus from Padan Aram, and he encamped there before the city. So what happens here at the end of this moment, this episode?
They part their ways.
They part their ways, right? The thing that is so beautiful about this, in my opinion, is if you were creating the movie version of this, what would they want to do at the end?
Come together.
They came together, they built lots of big houses, made one big kibbutz, and everyone lived together and ate the dining all together and, sang and danced at night and sat by the fireplace. It doesn't. Right? They go off on their own. Both fulfilling the destinies that they were seeking off on their own. That it doesn't mean that that they're not connected and they love each other and they had this moment and that they've had these opportunities to reconcile. But that was the moment, that's what they were seeking, right? That's what they found in one another. And not everything has to be that big sort of like off into the fairy tale ending. But it was an end, it's an ending and it's a beginning. That now they can both go on and live their lives. That they are no longer Yaakov, they're no longer holding on to that past episode and moment and those ill will and those feelings that have prevented them from the things that they had hoped to do. That they've let go and they've experienced and they've been authentically engaged with one another and reunited with one another. And Zeitgesamt, like, that's good, right? That's beautiful. It's a great sort of takeaway for us when we think about our own lives, is that the moment of unity, of reunification, of teshuvah, of forgiveness, of coming back together with one another in that way and in the way that the Torah teaches us here, is what's that profound moment. And to know that teshuvah, forgiveness, reconciliation, growth, transformation, all the things here that happen, they happen. And you grow and you discover based off of whatever feels right for you. And it doesn't have to be the ending that you know, that where the music plays off and you start dancing down some yellow brick road somewhere, right? It's whatever the journey takes you.
So Jacob is traveling to Esau's place of living. He's traveling with all of his people, family, and possessions. And Esau just has 400 men,
That we know, yeah.
but that's it. But they're meeting. He didn't go to his place. They seem to have met and then they separated.
Yeah. Off on
But
their
it
own
said-
journeys.
But it said that he was going to Esau's place.
Yeah, knowing that Esau is there, that his group and his tribe are there, they're gonna have to pass through them to get where they need to go.
But they've also, Esau is also
Now he's picking up, and
And now
remember,
he's
they're
going back
wanderers, yeah,
someplace else.
yeah, they're wanderers,
So,
Took everybody on to be their territory,
right, and now,
common ground.
yeah. All right, my friends, it's Shabbat coming soon. I hope you will think about what does this Yaakov to Yisrael mean for you? What are those pieces of yourself that you are wrestling with, that you are considering and thinking about when you are alone by your own, in your own silence and your own quiet at night, crazy things happen at night. And then also, what do you hope to become in your own transformation from the Yaakov to the Yisrael? Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom. Oh, good, I'm glad you were here.
It's 6 o'clock tonight.
6 o'clock tonight,
Friday.
First Friday.
Exposed to his. Tomorrow we have see organization. I'm sorry. Organization. It just be like that. Yeah. But if you are. I'm like.
Doing a little pre-planning.
Tomorrow? Oh, for lunch and learn.
No, but you know, like.
We are actually, I decided we're gonna stay on Maimonides. And we're gonna stay on that chapter and we're gonna do a little bit of a Maimonidean exercise with that. We're gonna stick with Maimonides, chapter 5.